So for this 5-wire weave, there's actually a few ways we can do this. It's basically the exact same weave, it's just when we get to either of the end wires what we decide to do. So I'm just going to number them 1 to 5. There we go. So I mentioned earlier about a 1-1 wire weave, that's what this one is. So we do that'll be our anchor, and then 1 over 1, 1 over 1, 1 over 1, 1 over. Now we can either go over like this and then back, or you can do another one. I'll show you that in a moment, but this is what we're going to pretend that we've gone over and straight to the next one. And below, again, exact same pattern on the way down, and we do the same here where we've gone like this, so we go straight back up. The difference being that we don't have the extra wraps. Now when you actually wrap these, it won't be this spaced out, it'll actually look something a little bit more like this, which some people like to a feather. So they'll do a lot of weaves on the base wire and then have this feather look in the middle. Now the way I prefer to do it is I'll start it the exact same way, but instead of stopping here, I'll just use a different colour. Instead of doing the loop and coming back down, I prefer to just do it like this and then continue on as normal until we get to the bottom, where if I were to go back up, I'd do the same thing again and continue on up that way. So now I'll show you that in actual weaving. So now I'm going to show you how to do these weaves with the 5 wires. I've already anchored it on. You can see I've put it in the clamp because I'm using a few more wires than we have done previously. If you are particularly unsure, I would put masking tape around the end and then put it in the clamp. That's just another level of extra security. Some people have actually seen just use masking tape. Personally, I'm not a fan of that because I still find that they slip. But if you use masking tape and a clamp, you're well on your way to making sure they're not moving anywhere from you. Okay, so I'm going to do this 1-1 weave. Okay, so I'll just move that back there. Now I'm just going to show you the ends of the wires. Even in the clamp, they do this. They end up kind of going a bit everywhere. So this is why I always suggest using the wire straighteners. However, when you are wrapping, they're still going to do this to the point where you're actually going to want them to, because you're going to want to move them so that you know you're definitely going for the right wire. So I tend to just have them so that I know like the top and bottom 2 are definitely completely out. I do the same again with the 2nd and 4th wire, and then the 3rd in the middle, and then I just put them back closer to the end. The further along I go, I make sure that they move in. That's just a tip that I found useful, but it's whatever is more comfortable for you. This helps me to not wrap on the wrong wire, because when we are working with a good few more, it can get very confusing, and then you end up having to unwrap and rewrap, and you can get a bit flustered at that point. So this is just something that I find a little easier. But you must make sure that the further along you go, you're bringing those wires back into a straight line, or it can be a little distorted in the finished product. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to go, okay, we're going to ignore those 2 anchor wires. So I'm going to re-anchor on the first wire, well, do the first loop, should I say. It's not an anchor, it's already been anchored. So 1 wrap there, over, we're on to the 2nd wire, and we're going to do 1 wrap, weave, loop, whatever you prefer to call it. I'm just going to call it a wrap at this point because we are just wrapping around. It's not quite a weave yet. Okay, and then the same again, go through. Now when you get a bit more accustomed to doing this, you'll find that you don't have to do it in stages, so I will literally just wrap around and then pull it down, but for the sake of showing you when you're first beginning, you don't really want to do that because it can take a little bit more tension. Okay, so pull that in, next one along. So that is basically what I do. I don't know if you saw that, but I wrapped around at the end, and instead of going up and round and then wrapping, that's how I do it now, but that can take a few tries. So in this one, we're going to do the wrap where we just go over and then come back down. So now, because the wrap is on this side, I'm going to loop backwards. So I'll do it the way I showed you originally. So to go in there and then do a loop down into where we want it, push them together, then do the loop. And at the bottom, we're going to just do the one and come straight back up. Okay, so that is one on this pattern, this particular weave that we've done. So in the next one, I'm going to show you this weave. So I would, for this one, I would continue, I'd do another wrap over, and then go up. Now because I'm wrapping on the back, you don't see the fact that we've just gone over again. That's another thing I should mention, that the weave can actually look different on the opposite side because of the way we wrap them. So actually what I'll do is come back to here, wrap again. I'm gonna just do it this way so that we're going back, just wrapped over there. So we're going to start again just here, do an anchor, another anchor wrap. Okay, so we're going to start again. So I've done one here and I'm going to go over. Try and keep my wires together without them distorting too much. So I'm going to go to here. It's also helpful at this stage if instead of doing the full loop in one, you can actually bring them a bit closer together exactly where you are. This helps with preventing the distortion. But like I say, when you get a little bit better, you get a bit quicker with doing these types of things, it won't be quite so much of a problem. Okay, we're going to go up again and to the top. And then we're going to go over. Now these sets of weaves will go down the back. So unlike on this one when we brought it back to the front, this one goes down the back. Okay, then we get to the bottom. And if you can see the difference between the two. The wraps, the way they sit is very different. I personally prefer this one. I prefer to do, there we go, I prefer to do these extra wraps just because of the way they then sit together. But it's entirely your personal choice. I'm just going to do a few more of this wrap, which is my preferred one, which is one with the extra on each side, just to show you how it builds up